If y'all don't know me, my name is Robyn. I'm an SRA survivor who has been healed, delivered, and fully deprogrammed. In this process, the Lord has taught me a lot of things about how the enemy operated not only in my life, but in general. And I'm here to share with you what he taught me about how the enemy hides. There is a ton of drama, y'all. I just had to turn my phone off, swatting off the enemy like crazy. It's not that people are intending to cause me problems, but the demonic can't get to me directly, so they get to those around me. So let's get going. There are two major ways that I saw the enemy hide. The first one is in the unrecognizable. Oh, no, it's not unrecognizable. It's more like ordinary. He hides within plain sight, literally. I write in chapter 8 of my testimony about the things that happened during the daytime when I was abused. So we had went to a school. The second grade was about to start for me, and I was feeling this hope of just being around people that weren't associated with the Decoy Church in which I was being abused. When we went in there, I felt like I was being suffocated just from the emotional shock. This house that was next door to where we lived, it was a school on the inside. Something that they failed to tell us until the day of school. I don't know how long before that my mother knew, but I didn't know anything about this. I thought she was driving us to school and we just walked right next door. Inside this building, it was there was no front door from the inside, but there was from the outside. From the inside, it looked like a movie set, schoolroom. Everything perfect, everything placed orderly. There was a room in the back of this house that was used for something else. It was a bedroom that smelled very bad, and the only time I was ever in that room is when I had kind of got a timeout. I was really stressing out and had a lot of realizations while I was sitting in there, but no one had approached me while I was in there. No doubt that room was used for some sort of very negative, bad behavior. But the house looked just like any other house. It was perfectly spaced inside a working class neighborhood. It looked just like the other working class neighborhoods. It had an ordinary amount of dirt on the siding. The yard was very well taken care of. It was manicured, but in a way that never caught your eye because there were little edges that had overlapped onto the dirt. You know, the grass kind of overlapped onto the dirt. Each flower was evenly spaced, like they had meticulously used a ruler when they planted. Each ornament on the house was evenly spaced. There was nothing about this place that would catch a person's eye. And no one ever investigated it. No one ever worried about it. Nobody ever looked at it. Nobody ever paid attention. There was a back door. There was a side door. People would come in and out, do whatever they wanted in this space, and the people around them would never say anything. The entire area was dominated by this group of people, and many of the rituals that they did were operated out of the church. Well, not really a church, a decoy church. On Sunday, they would have services that seemed ordinary. People were having what they thought was an experience with the Holy Spirit, but the truth was they were casting spells. They were speaking in demonic tongues, and many of these people weren't biblically or spiritually grounded enough to know the difference. This happens today more. It's more and more common that we're finding about decoy churches. They just sit on the corner. They look like an ordinary church. The people who went there had the whole holy roller outfit, we used to call it, with the hair bun on the top that was common in the 70s, the dresses down to the mid-calves, thick pantyhose, ugly shoes, you know, heavy, looking very modest and godly. They hid within that. Just the way that survivors tell you about being able to behave normally because they have a part for that, these victims that are still under occult control have parts where they behave very normally during the day. They work in successful positions. The women behave as how, you know, they thought the women should behave. They looked very ordinary. This caused an enormous amount of damage for me in my adult years prior to surrendering to God. Because what I did is, even though I didn't consciously do it, what I was doing was being attracted to people with drug problems particularly, and sometimes just anything. If I could put my finger on what was wrong with them, if it was obvious, that was the people I was going to hang out with. That's who I felt comfortable with because I knew what was wrong with them. This did not work out for me. The second tactic that I observed the enemy use to hide under, I see every day. He hides under the bizarre. These extreme bizarre stories that you hear come out of the mouths of ritual abuse survivors. Let me explain them to you. During each session of ritual abuse, there is a period in which they are under hypnotic delusion. Now, what's actually really happening is way more bizarre than what's put into delusions. But they implant delusions that are bizarre and untrue so that that will be what the person recants. They'll have you tell the wrong place, the wrong time, the wrong people. They just mix it up enough to ensure that if you ever start talking, you're going to say something that's no one wants to believe to start with, and often they can prove it not true. The children today who ask for help are often using words that we find on the internet. They'll say, "I'm being mind controlled." And these ideas, these words will be put into the children so that they seem fake when they start telling the people at their schools and even their parents that aren't involved in it. It's a setup, and we are not going to get through this without complete and total submission to the will of God. Something that always causes us a problem is the fact that there is never any physical proof that we have been abused. Sometimes we'll have bruises. Sometimes people will get smart and make recordings when they're being taken in for checkups as an adult, but there's no physical proof. These people have been doing this since the Tower of Babel. I mean, y'all don't think they stopped passing babies through the fire, do you? They're very well practiced at this, and they set it up in a way that they will never be caught. However, nothing is hidden from the eyes of the Almighty, and all we have to do is cry out to Him for resolution and truth in these situations, and all becomes revealed.